What is up, YouTube land? The.Racing.Doctor here. This is Season 2, Episode 1 of Chronicles of the Racing.Doctor. This is the Graffiti Grinder presented by Capital City Racing and Brett Kinsey and his family. Capital City Racing is doing 6 races in 2024 and 2025, which is pretty awesome. They put on 3 races last year. This Graffiti Grinder is something that we've never done before. This is a brand new race course that they created to start the season. This course is really straightforward. Ended up being 100K, so 62 miles and change. The race course is relatively flat, only about 1,000 feet of climbing. When I looked at this course on Ride with GPS, it had something like 1,800 feet of climbing, about half that. Race was a lot of fun. It was a swampy, muddy fucking disaster out there. Did a lot of damage to bikes. I literally trashed a set of brake pads, both pulleys in my rear derailleur, but we'll talk more about that later. You always know that it's going to be a wet, soggy mess when you hear this. It's like the mating call of people with high-end carbon bicycles and disc brakes.
Your force field is good, but my teleporting is better.
The starting chute that we're going through here, it's really kind of cyclocrossy. The people over at Capital City Racing do not want any of their races to overlap as far as parts of the course go. So the Come and Grind It is in the same area of Leesville, but this new race, the Graffiti Grinder, starts at the same area. So they created that little starting chute, ending chute to make the courses different. So there's not any overlap in any of the 6 races that we'll be doing in this part of South Central Texas. Pretty fucking awesome. That just goes to show the dedication that Capital City Racing has in creating really unique events. If you haven't done a Capital City Racing event and you live anywhere in Texas within like a 3-hour drive, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, come out and do a race with us. It is so much fun. The gravel is always in really good shape, except for this race. It was a swampy fucking disaster, but we can't do anything about the weather. It makes for really interesting racing, and this race was a ton of fun.
Look, guys, what's the problem? It's time to kill.
When we turn onto the gravel here, it doesn't look too bad. You can see some puddles. It's obviously a little soft and squishy, but it knocks the dust down. I thought this was kind of how this race was going to be. The week before this race, we all started looking at the weather and we were super excited. It's the second week of December. It's going to be 74 and sunny. So we did get the 74. So it wasn't really chilly, super comfortable, but holy shit, it rained on us most of this race, and it was humid as hell. Racing in the mud, if you've never done this before, there's a few things that you've got to be aware of. The first, it requires more power to race in the mud. It's 3 to 4 watts that you're losing, or even more if you're having to ride through deeper puddles or chunkier stuff, and that takes a toll on you physically. You also have to have a really good skill set and bike handling skills to ride in the mud as well and race in the mud as well, because there's a lot of times where the back tire wants to go a whole lot faster than the front tire, and if you're not careful, you will eat shit. And the last part of this that most people don't think about or give any consideration to is the mental fatigue that it takes to ride and race in the mud as well, because you have to be significantly more selective about picking your line, avoiding the big ruts, avoiding the deeper mud, and collecting all of your feces into one centralized location. That siren indicates the end of the neutral rollout, and it is time to go racing.
It's showtime! Boogity, boogity, boogity! Ooh, let's go racing today!
The perfect biological weapon.
After more than 10 years, he returns to the battlefield to show you who the king is. Y'all know his name, right? Y'all know his name, right?
So I want to talk a little bit about the 2024-ish, 2025 season. I say 2024-ish because this race is the first in a series, and it is happening in 2024. But moving forward into 2025, I have some very specific goals that I want to achieve. The end goal for 2025 is to race the Gravel World Championships in Nice, France in October. But there's a lot that has to happen before that. For this to happen, I need to have 2 performance peaks in 2025. I need to peak in April for the UCI qualifier in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the Highlands Gravel. And then I also need to peak again in Nice in October so I can be competitive at that race. I'm not Keegan, I'm not Sophia, I'm not Alexi, I'm not Hannah. I do not have the ability to train and peak once a month. That is a wholly unrealistic expectation for anyone that is not a professional athlete. I am not a professional athlete. I am a professional doctor who moonlights as a bike racer. We have already established this. But I do feel as though I can peak twice in a year, every 6 months. So part of doing this Capital City Racing series is to use these races as training events so that I can peak when I need to peak so that I can qualify for UCI Gravel World Championships. To qualify for Gravel World Championships, you have to finish in the top 25% of your age group, or 1, 2, or 3, at one of the 33 qualifying events selected by the UCI. Highlands Gravel is the event that I've chosen to qualify at in Fayetteville, Arkansas, for a multitude of different reasons. So, getting back to why this race is important for that, this series from Capital City Racing is all about training. This is racing at threshold for 4+ hours. So I'm not trying to win anything. Not that I could anyway, just because of who is here and who is in this front group of people and how fast those guys are. So I'm not trying to race my way into a better position. The results of this race are not really what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for are my power numbers, my heart rate numbers, and my overall time. That's really it. I don't even really care about the mileage for these things either. I'm really using these races as a training tool so that I can peak when I need to peak. My mindset has shifted for the 2025 season, whereas all of 2024, I was trying to get the absolute best position that I could at every race that I went to. With the exception of Big Sugar, I did achieve that goal. My goal for Big Sugar was finish in the top 25% of the race. I was just outside of that. All in all, 2024 was a really good season for me. One common goal for the 2025 season that I had in the 2024 season, which was mandated by my wife, is I cannot crash and end up hurt. If I fucking crash and end up hurt, my wife is going to leave me. So I have to keep that in mind every time I get on a start line. This is the point in the race where the weather starts to turn worse on us. You can see that it's raining now, so the course gets worse, the weather gets worse, and the conditions end up shittier. This is where you have to choose between comfort and speed. So you can see how much shit is being thrown up by the guys in front of me. I can move out away from them and not have shit being spit all over me, but then I have to contend with increased wind resistance. And I'm not getting that draft off of the guys that I'm riding behind. But I don't have shit in my face. So it really becomes this: do I ride with these guys or do I try and be comfortable? And this is why I don't like racing in the rain, because I don't like having to make these decisions.
Et d'un coup, il s'envole.
To take my mind off the fact that I'm straight up eating dirt here, I take a look at the guy on the orange bicycle, and I see the massive gear he's turning as we're climbing up this little bitty false flat here. And the only thing I can think of is Phil Liggett commentating on a Tour de France race way back in the 80s or early 90s, where he says, and he can't find a bigger gear on the machine.
Bigger gear on the machine. Can't find a 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 bigger gear on the machine.
So the guy in the all-black skin suit right here in front of me, this is my boy Logan. Logan is a track racer. He is a super, super powerful bicycle racer. He's a big guy too. He's like 6'5", 230 pounds. And he puts down a crap ton of power. And he pokes a big asshole through the wind. I pull up on his wheel and he's going to do everything he can to try and pull us into the next group. But Logan is way faster than I am. He's way faster than I ever was or will ever be. So I know at some point I'm going to fall off this wheel, but I'm going to ride it for as long as I can. But Logan is a track star, and he is awesome in the velodrome. Logan and I ride gravel bikes every Wednesday night on the levee in Houston with a group out of Cool Cat Cycles. If you're in Houston and are looking for a gravel ride on Wednesday nights, come join us. We have a really good time. But I know how fast Logan is, and I know I'm not going to be able to keep up for very long. I'm going to ride with Logan for as long as I can and be a little bit of a wheel sucker. I'm not going to deny it.
Robot to the finest strain. Get high with her while she's naked. Heads up at the pool in Spain. Come jump on a jumbo jet. I take you mile high while I pop champagne. Load in the clip then spray. Had a man lit like Christmas Day. Drop down and I made him pray. You know what I mean, in a Christian way. Put jewels in the Jesus pendant. Lord forgive me if I strike him down. And if a man try to take the stash, he gets wrapped like packs of the white and brown.
Kitchen king with the pots and pans. Trap line pings and I drop that brand. Whip that work like a Boston cream. It's time to make dough, no dunking man. Got man to feed. Bricks to the work and a pan of weed. Chef kiss when I serve them up. I know golden man to be proud of me.
Clean as a cut, TCP, eyes on the block, CCTV. And the shit packs like DPD, so the boys on the beat won't leave us be. I'm calling, baby, sipping on a glass of the boba, baby. Looks like I'm a superstar.
There goes Logan and one of the other racers trying to catch that group that's just cresting that hill up there. These guys are going to throw down the hammer and go race bicycles.
If a man try cross the line, I'll get hit with more than a misdemeanor.
Chin wagging a boozer, quick cat and a moolah. Boy, talk to me nicely, or it's click bang with a Ruger.
This section of asphalt right here, we're about 15 miles into this 60-plus mile race. So we're about 25% done here. I need to refuel, I need to resituate myself, do a little housekeeping, clean off the computer, clean off the glasses, get myself situated, and get back into this race. But as I'm going through the Garmin, looking at some of the data points, I realized that my Garmin can only function as a piece of shit like it has done for the past 6 months. Technology is always awesome until it fails. When you rely on technology to provide you with information so that you can be more productive, and that technology doesn't work the way that it is supposed to, it actually decreases the level of productivity you're actually able to put out. I get really frustrated with this computer and I start cussing at it. I tell my computer to fuck off, eat a dick, stop being a piece of fucking shit.
You rely on that computer. 0.59 miles. Distance to destination. Fuck you, government. Fuck you, government.
I do a lot of my pacing strategy based on distance left, and when my Garmin tells me there's only 0.5 miles left in this race, it was really infuriating because I know there's like 45 some odd miles left, or 43 and change. You can see right there on the computer there was 15.37 miles. And the computer also stopped beeping at me to tell me which way to turn and stopped giving me the map. So I had to like manually flip it to the map. I am done with this Garmin. I have actually replaced it with a Wahoo Element Ace. I've been working with it over the past couple of weeks on my trainer, and I've got it pretty well dialed in. So you'll see the Wahoo Ace and less cursing at my computer and bitching about my computer in the next video.
Yeah, feels right, then it can't be wrong.
This gentleman that I'm pulling up to on my left, this is Evan. Evan's a super good dude. He's 18 years old. I got the chance to talk to him during this race and then also afterwards as well. But I kept looking at his bike, and I'm actually going to turn the camera here in just a second so you can see it. So his stem is the most slam thing I've ever seen in my life. This looks like one of Keegan's mountain bikes. There are exactly 0 spacers between the bottom of the stem and the top of the head tube. And that stem has a negative drop of something like 17 or 20 degrees. But if you look at him ride, he looks super comfortable. So this is one of those things where your fitness will absolutely dictate your fit. Super strong core and hamstrings that are not super tight and locked up and short, you can ride that. You can ride that super aggressive, like 9 inches difference between your saddle height and your bar height. Most people cannot do that.
God
turn the camera around right here just so you can see how fucking filthy and dirty and gross this race actually is. The gravel out here is actually so fine that when I took my kit off, my chamois, like the interface between my ass and my bicycle, had sand in it. I had sand in between my toes as well. So sand had gotten through the shoe, through the sock, and in between my toes. I've never been this dirty in a race before. It was really something else. This was the fastest part of the race right here. This was also the sketchiest part of this fucking race too. So we've got that really nasty mud right there over the grate and then into this false flat, just fucked swamp. The video really does not do this part of this justice. This is where you just put the power down and give it a full fucking send and hope for the best. The bike was drifting all over the place. I was able to keep my shit together, ride back up to these two guys here. So they slowed down, I sped up. Having good bike handling skills and confidence in that skill set can really set you up to better position yourself in a race like I've done here. If you've never raced in the mud before, a trick or tip that I have for you is keep one of your water bottles or your Camelback with only water in it. Don't put any fuel in it. Don't put any electrolytes in it. Keep just water. That way you have a way to clean off your glasses in your computer. What you can do is fill your mouth up with some pure water and then give whatever you need a nice little rinse. And now I can see again. But my computer has this thing where it likes to change the screen when it gets wet. But I digress, and there will be less lamenting in future videos regarding computers because this thing is going away. One thing I do like about Garmin and the Garmin app is the safety and tracking thing. So my wife can watch me with a little link that I send her. And throughout my races, she'll send me these little text messages. So it's nice to get that. It's awesome to get that little go baby go. It makes me happy.
To see it starts with the spark and then it's burning slow until it grows so close. Got to see it to believe it. Strike the match, pour gasoline. These flames engulf it. Everything is scorched earth. The fire burn non-stop. Coming for it all at any cost. I'm gonna burn bright.
Here is another super sketchy part of this race. So it had been raining for 2 or 3 hours at this point. So there's this thin layer of water on top of this really slick sand. So it's really difficult to maintain control of the bike. Tires just kind of want to go wherever tires want to go in the rut that they're in. So you just got to keep very little weight on the handlebars and just stay on top of the bike and let the bike do what the bike's going to do without over controlling it. You'll see here in just a second that, the bars just start dancing around and I take my weight out of the saddle, just plant my weight into the pedals and let the bike do what it's going to do and just stay perched on top of it. So you can see me struggling right there a little bit.
You don't even want to smoke. Ready for whatever soul. Even when the last flame passes, know that I will rise from the ashes. And me in the fire. You don't even want the smoke. Ready for whatever, so even when the last flame passes, know that I will rise from the ashes. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Blazing like an inferno. Yeah, you know.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly.
This race was really mentally fatiguing as well. It takes a lot to try and find the safest line and the fastest line and not spin out. So you can see this guy here, he had to get off the bike and walk. I don't know what his issue was. I asked him if he was okay. He said he was fine. So I don't know if he just spun out and lost traction, because I'm struggling right here to maintain traction, but the right side was completely rutted up and looked like a crash in the making.
Sway your do-si-do like you loco. Can we get kinky tonight like Coco? So, you wanna play with my yo-yo? I smoke my on the D-Lo. I can't stand her. It's my window. 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 Beep, beep. Who got the keys to the Jeep? I'm driving to the beach. Top down, loud sound, see my piece. Give them pounds now, look who it be. It be me, and Timothy. Look like it's about to rain, what a shame. I got the armor or the shine up the stain. Old Missy, try to maintain. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain. It's my window. I can't stand the rain.
In 2025, I've changed a few things on the bicycle. The first being my fit. I get a fit every year, whether I need it or not. 99.9% of the time, you should get fit every year. It doesn't matter if you're an amateur, pro athlete. If you ride a bicycle quite often, you should get fit every year, because your body composition changes, the way you ride the bicycle changes. If your power numbers go up or down, that's going to dictate your fit. Also, as you improve core strength and flexibility, that is going to dictate the drop between your saddle height and your bar height. The difference in bar height and seat height, that gap or drop, is dictated by core strength and hamstring mobility or hamstring flexibility, because it changes the way your pelvis is positioned on the bicycle. Some changes I've made to the bicycle are I have drawn my hoods in quite a bit to get a more aero position, throws my elbows out in the more aggressive gravel and more technical sections. I can ride the bike more like a mountain bike, but I can also get my forearms down on top of the hoods and be really aero. I've also been able to lower my stem down about 5 millimeters. The biggest change that I made this year on the bike is I've gone to 165 crank arms from 172 fives. I've been riding 172 fives for 20 plus years. Also, for 20 plus years, I have known that I needed to ride 165 crank arms. The reason being is my femurs are short relative to my overall leg length. When my crank arms are perfectly parallel to the ground on 172.5 crank arms, my knee is roughly 1 centimeter behind the spindle of my pedal. Your knee should be directly over the center of the spindle. I've also had to stuff my seat as far forward as it will go to accomplish this on 172.5 crank arms. So what I've been able to do is bring my saddle back about 3 millimeters and up 1 centimeter. So now my knee is directly over the center of the spindle of the pedal where it should be, and also My saddle is more centered in the rails, which I'm using the rails to take some of the vibration out of the bike that's translating into my body, reducing my body fatigue. Good stuff. Go get fit.
So you found her, now go for love, just like we were. If I even was, it's not my fault. I did what I could. You made it.
This individual here with the blinky in front of me is Evan. We met him earlier in this video. I'm chasing him, he's chasing someone else, so there's like this 3-man race going on right here. I'm at a wattage that I'm comfortable with, and I'm gaining ground, but I can't ride much faster than that, or else I'm just going to implode at the end of this thing, but I do end up making the catch. My fit was done by Dr. Joseph Petrello with Aligned Bike Fitting in Rogers, Arkansas, just outside of Bicycle Mecca of Bentonville, Arkansas. I've known Dr. Petrella for a really long time. He's actually one of my best friends in the world. He's very, very good at what he does. We were able to do my fit virtually, which made for a really interesting fitting experience, because most of the time when you go to a fit studio, they want you in and out of there in like an hour to an hour and a half. It's in and out as quickly as possible. You're not allowed to get into a fatigue state. So what I was able to do was ride on my trainer for like 2 hours and then shoot 8 to 10 minutes of video and then send that to Dr. Petrella. And he did my fit off of me being in a fatigued state. Because when you're in a fatigued state, that's not the same as being fresh, and you sit on the bicycle very differently. You feel this. Your shoulders shrug up into your ears, you round your back out, you start to slide all over the saddle. So getting fit in that fatigue state, that's where you ride 99% of the time. You're only fresh for about the first 45 minutes to an hour on a bike, and you can feel the difference between how you sit on the bike in the first hour and how you sit on the bike in the last hour. So having that fit done in a fatigue state really made a difference in my overall body positioning on the bicycle and made it much, much more comfortable. And I started to notice that about this stage in the race. I wasn't sliding all over my saddle. I wasn't shrugging my shoulders up into my ears. I was still really comfortable on the bike. If you've never been fit or need a new fit, I highly recommend reaching out to Dr. Petrella. I will post his contact information in the description in this video. Give him a call, get fit. You're not riding outside anyway, so put your bike on the trainer, set your camera up, and do a virtual fit. It will really change the way you ride and how much power you're able to produce in a positive way.
Eloquent, cause light snow. Head to toe, dry, ice cold. Wrist well, light, bright, dynamite might blow. Temperature around me.
So here's the catch with Evan. I burned way more matches than I should have to get here, but I'm here, and I'm stoked about that. I made it. So I ride up alongside him and I tell him, hey man, I've been chasing you for like 3 miles. And he proceeds to tell me that he's been chasing the guy in front of him for like an hour. I tell him that I don't have a whole lot to contribute to the effort to make that catch because I just don't have it. I'm not there. I told him that if he would let me ride his wheel for a little bit to recover, I will take a few pulls to help him. So here we are, we have made the catch of the individual that Evan had been chasing for about an hour. I wanted to provide some help and take a pull, but Evan's just way faster than I am, and that was not going to happen. I tried to recover on his wheel, but I couldn't hang on. And I'm still trying to recover through just trying to hang on to Evan's wheel. Like, it's hard. It is really hard to try and hold on right here. And I'm putting in all the effort that I have just to be able to hang on. I'm able to ride with these two guys for a little while longer, and then I get dropped like a bad habit. I'm struggling to just hang on here. I do take a pull with these guys, but it's just not enough for how fast they're riding, so they end up just blowing past me and leaving me behind.
Check my dangerous slang, atrocious. When I let these nuts hang, focus, it's Wu-Tang. What the fuck's a hootie and the blowfish? I wave my black flag at the roaches.
So, the three of us that are riding together are not really that organized at all. I think we are all in this place where we're just ready to be done. We're ready to get off the bikes, get out of the mud, get out of the rain, get some food in us, and have a fucking beer.
Bullets to unbutton your clothes. Description: yellow male, tissue up in his nose. You bitches. Swing the vine on the backbone nuts. I'm hairy as hell, out of hell and tattooed up. I'm a dog only, fuck in the back from what? In high school I dealt only with the classroom sluts. My name is Johnny Donnie Brasco.
As you can see, this race course has now exceeded its saturation point. So it's just an inch or two, that was probably 6 inches deep, of standing water on top of the gravel, and it's just become an absolute fucking swamp.
Fuck how many dogs, players, and ballers in it. Brick City, Charlotte, better call the sinners. Boys that'll run up in your white mall and spill it.
Right here, Evan and this other guy realize that I'm just absolutely cooked. They take a look back, see that I'm not going to be able to hang, and put the hammer down and just ride away. And I'm okay with that. Like, I had no expectations of placing high in this race.
It just don't get no darker than that kid with the Parker. Ball head with the boots who shoots to make it spark. Now I'm a fair nigga, but ain't dead nigga quicker than the hair trigger. So if you dead nigga, it'll be like your man trying to hold your brain to your head. But you'll be shitting on yourself cause you already dead. And at the funeral you won't need a casket. I'm leaving just enough of them to stuff in a basket. But just get the tasket, I really need my ass kicked. My mom's never let me forget that I'm a bastard. I ain't never been shit, and ain't gon' be shit. That's why I take shit whenever I see shit.
At this point right here, I am super excited to see this bridge. Like, you have no idea. Because I know that on the other side of this is Chip Seal Road. There's no more mud. We are done with the mud for this race. And that makes me super happy. This house right here is about a half mile from the start-finish line. There's this dog right here in the middle of the road. There's like 9 dogs that live in that house. They were really noisy and chasey, but I think that little girl there had had enough of chasing bicycles for one day, which I was not mad at in the least. I did not have the mental fortitude or the physical capabilities to run from chasing dogs again.
What you gonna do now? Breathe in, now breathe out. Hands up, now hands down. Back up. Tell me what you gonna do now. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. 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 That's right, baby. Watch out, punk. Limp Bizkit. DMX. Captain Man. Red Man. Swiss Beats. Where the fuck you at?
there you have it. That is the Graffiti Grinder from Capital City Racing out here in Leesville, Texas. This race was really hard for the conditions that were out there. That's for sure. That really was the great equalizer. There's my boy Logan right there, covered in mud. Our host here was kind enough to bust out a couple of hoses so that we could all wash our bicycles, hose ourselves down, get cleaned up a little bit before we all had to drive back home. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Special thank you to Alex and Ava. I love you both, and I'm glad I get to do life with the two of you. Allele Cycling, super proud to be racing with you guys again this year in 2025. It's going to be an amazing year for us. Product partners, The Feed, keeping me fed. Birdworks, you guys did a legit job on the helmet this year. Absolutely love it. Capital City Racing, the Kinsey family, you guys keep it real. You guys put on some amazing events. Dr. Joseph Petrella and Aligned Bike Fits. Hit him up. Go get a bike fit. You can also find him at Aligned Bike Fits on the gram. You can hit this QR code for a sweet deal at allelecycling.com. I am the Racing Doctor. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Peace.